far as you know, or it was just made up?
I don't know. I think it's actually, maybe it was a man like that. I don't know. I don't know. So he gave me the passport, and I went to American consul to take a visa, but he didn't let me go in Buenos Aires to take the visa.
The Macher didn't let
The
you?
Macher didn't let me.
He told you
he
that
went to Rosario.
To Rosario.
I went to Rosario. There was
This is
a
not
consul
to
there.
tape, you
Yes,
know.
it is.
There was a consul there, and the consul there gave me the visa. Wait a minute, no, wait now. The consul gave me a visa not to America. He gave me a visa to Brazil.
Which is what the Macher told you to do, or?
Of course.
You had to go to Brazil first.
That's right.
So
So, he gave me a visa to Brazil only.
So you're holding a Uruguayan passport, and now you went to Brazil.
I went to Brazil.
To Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro. In Brazil, I stayed there for about a week, and then I went to the American consul in Brazil.
Brazil.
And he gave me a visa to the United States.
So you got a Brazilian visa, an American visa from Rio de Janeiro on a Uruguayan passport, and this time it worked.
This time it worked.
You got in.
Yes.
So 1926.
Yeah, and he did not, he told me I shouldn't go to New York. I should go to Boston.
The Macher.
So as soon as I came from the boat, I went to the train and I went to Boston.
Wait a minute. When you got off the boat, you went to Ellis Island again.
Ellis Island.
So,
yes? I suppose so. I don't remember.
You must have gone straight through.
Must be.
It was still Ellis Island days. I'm sure it was still Ellis Island days. So you did disembark in New York.
Yes.
So once you were in America, what was the bargain of going to Boston?
I don't know what was the reason for it. I think
you didn't sail directly to Boston.
They felt, I suppose, that when you go to somewhere else, not to New York,
they're not so
easier
strict.
to get to
free you. They free you
to pass by.
But you certainly did not disembark in Boston, did you?
No.
You did go through New York.
Okay. I went by train to Boston.
Okay.
I went to Boston by
I
train.
don't see the importance of
As
put this on
a matter of fact, what's his name?
People should know how people came to America.
You don't have to put it on television.
I won't broadcast it. Only my tape.
I don't like it. I know it's yours, but it's
when I came from Boston back to New York, so Mortal Pius, Weiss, he came to visit, to take me up from the train, he with his girlfriend, Rebecca. And when I came here, there was a tragedy here. My uncle died a little while before. So they didn't want to take me to Sarah's house.
This uncle is who, your father's brother?
My father's sister's husband.
Father's sister's husband.
Yeah. So they didn't take me to Sarah. Sarah lived with them. So they didn't take me to Sarah, but they took me to Ginsburg's. I stayed in Ginsburg overnight.
Now, who is Ginsburg to you?
Another cousin. He has a million cousins.
Who is that? How? Your father is what?
Ginsburg is my father's
Ginsburg's wife.
Father's sister's child.
Ginsburg's wife is...
Ginsburg's wife is your father's sister's
from his
child.
father's side a cousin.
Well, Ginsburg's wife.
Ginsburg's last name is Ginsburg, so Ginsburg is
Ginsburg's wife is
Ginsburg's wife, probably.
Ginsburg's wife
was your father's
my
sister's child.
Yeah.
Right.
My sister, my aunt's daughter.
Right.
Yeah, my father's sister's daughter.
I
Right.
understand.
So I stayed with them for
a night.
no, 1 night or more, maybe, I don't know. And then I went to Sarah, and I stayed with Sarah.
And Sarah was living where at the
Sarah
time?
was living in Monroe Street,
Monroe Street.
with that uncle of mine that died. With them.
Which was at that time and still Monroestrasse.
I'm on Monroestrasse, right?
Now, Monroestrasse, you lived with Sarah, and what did you do then? Did you get a job right away, or went to school?
Well, for a while, I mean, I stayed, I just did nothing for about a week or 2 weeks, I think. And then my cousin took me to his
the grocery
store.
Sultan in the market.
To Sultan's grocery store.
And then he went to college.
And you worked for Sultan, and you went to school?
That's
also, at night?
At night, of course.
Okay.
I went to school actually right away. I think in the first 2 weeks, I don't think I went to school. But as soon as I started to work in Sultan's, I went to school.
School to learn English first?
English. The school was on East Broadway. Was the same neighborhood, you know.
School to learn English?
That's right.
It
was a private school. It's called a preparatory school. I think, I forgot the name.
I think you told me once it was Eton or something like that?
Eton?
Eton? Was it called Eton or something like that once you told me?
Not Eton, yeah, I forget other name. But a well-known professor.
Some preparatory school, and then you went to English.
And then I learned English.
And then you eventually also enrolled in City College afterwards.
Yeah,
But how long did it take?
It took me only a few months. And then I took the exams. You see, I had the Russian diploma of it's called the
University.
Central University, but they didn't accept Russian at that time. So I had to take the exams. So I took the
Because
exams.
they don't.
And,
You took the high school equivalency exam.
That's right.
Yeah.
But they gave us the regular exam for everything. Only English were special. I mean, and that's all.
But
English
you know,
was English for foreigners.
For
but
foreigners.
that
Everything
high,
else you have to pass all
Right,
all the
exactly the
exams.
same.
but that
Same.
high school that he went to isn't like here, the high school. It is like here, high school and 2 years college.
The gymnasium.
Well,
Right.
Absolutely.
So you had to pass exams in math and in history or whatever.
In remember languages.
Languages, history, everything.
History,
You
yeah.
took all these exams after a few months in this preparatory
You're
school.
right. And in September I was already in college.
In September.
And you know, I met a
I came in May, I think, or June, Schweiz, I think, around Schweiz, I came here. And in September I was already in college.
You know what his friend said? I met her once. I don't even know where she came from, also from the Central American countries. And she said to me that they went with him to school. He has a lot of friends. And none of them worried about the tests. They just got together with them before. He said none of them worried because only he did
knew
it.
everything.
He did everybody.
Now, this time, you're still in Hungary at this time with your mother, 1926, 27,
Yes.
28. Now, after you went to college, after you went to college,
I went to college for 4 years.
for 4 years, so by 1930, 31, you were finished.
5 years, I think.
5 years.
5 years. Because I finished, I came in 1926. I entered college at the end of September 26, and I graduated in 31.
26, well, from September 26 to June of 31
31.
is 4 years.
4 years, is it?
Well, from September 26 to September 30,
26.
no, it was 5 years, you're right, 5 years. So you did 5 years, and then,
So after I graduated, so I applied for my citizenship papers. It took me about a year to get my citizenship papers. So as soon as I got my citizenship papers, I went to Europe.
now, you sailed back to Europe,
Right.
to your family. You have to go to get people out. You couldn't,
I'll tell you why. You see, nobody could go to the United States direct
no more.
at that time, no more. That was impossible. So that's why we went to Argentina, and the people went to, what we call it?
They zigzagged the
Cuba,
whole
everywhere.
world.
Cuba and all over the world.
And many stayed there because they
That's it. So now I had my 4 sisters or 5 sisters that I don't even remember now already.
Well, don't say that. It's not nice.
I had 6.
Well, Sarah was here,
Sarah was here only.
and
Nobody
Rose was there,
Rose
and Batya was there,
and
Bunya,
Bunya
And Elke.
and
Elke,
Elke and Libe.
and Liba is 4 at
and
least.
Zlate.
And Zlata is 5. 5 were there.
That's
5 were
right.
there. You were all together. 5 of those sisters, 1 here,
That's
is 6, and
and
you
2 boys.
is 7, and Shalom is 8.
Yeah.
Only 2 boys.
Only 2 boys.
Okay.
Shalom
So there were
was
8 altogether.
Right, we all together.
Can you
Oh, and
imagine?
Ichke was along with us.
Well, how long did he
Wait,
stay
wait,
with you?
but Ichka was not a brother.
No, not the brother, but he was brought up by
He was
us.
brought up with you in the same family, so 9 of you were brought up
Treated him like a
together.
brother, like we consider him like a brother.
I understand. 9 of you were brought up together. 8 of you were actually brothers and sisters. Ichka was a cousin.
Right.
Okay, so 9 of you brought up together, but by this time Sarah's already here a while. Now you're in America. Now you go back in 32 to get out Rose. So what was your plan to get out Rose?
Well, so it's very complicated.
It must have been. You have to go back.
So talk about something.
No, Mom, this is what I wanted to
I
talk
don't
about.
like it.
Well-
I don't want you to say it. It's enough.
Well, inside.
You have to start something else.
Mom, but this, what's wrong with it?
It's enough. It's enough.
What are you afraid? They're going to kick him
I
out?
don't like it.
What are you
I don't care for it. Leave him alone already. Let's talk something else.
Well, I want to know how Rose got out.
Okay,
how Wendy
so
got out.
insist. I'm going to get up. I'm
All
not
right,
going to sit
let's
here.
forget about Rose for a minute then.
Okay.
All right? What about Bunya? Now, only Bunya and Rose left.
That's right.
Bunya went to Israel.
Bunya went to Israel. I sent Bunya to Israel and Rose I brought here.
So you could only bring one here. You couldn't manage to get both here. Is that what happened? Or Bunya wanted to do it in Israel?
No, I couldn't get it. Bunya would rather come here.
I understand. You only could manage to get one.
That's
This
it.
place. So Bunya went to Israel at the same time that Rose went here, more or less?
No, Bunya went first. You see, when I was there, I came to Poland.
32.
I know, but I came, I think, summer. I was there about 6 months in Poland at home. Something like that. Because I came back in December, so I must have came there. Oh, yeah, in May. I went in May to Russia, and in June I came to Poland.
You were there 6 months.
With my parents, and I stayed there till December. So as soon as I came, we started to work on Bunya's case. So we sent Bunya to Israel.
While you were still there,
While
Bunya
I was
left?
still there, Bunya left.
Oh, you saw Bunya go. You were in Poland when Bunya left.
That's
I
right.
understand.
Bunya left while I was still
She went to
there.
live in Palestine.
And then after Bunya left,
Did she know the people? Well, everybody knew someone in Palestine, I guess.
but
Did she know anyone in Palestine?
yes,
she must have
knew
known
something. We knew some relation there.
Where did she go to live? Tel Aviv?
Tel Aviv.
She went to Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv. Yeah, we had a family in Tel Aviv, some far relations, and they took her in, and she stayed with them for a while until she got her work there. And after Bunya went to Israel, so we started to work on Rose. And the Rose came, I went myself back,
You came back yourself.
and Rose remained there.
And Rose-
And then I sent her papers, and she
She
came
came later.
later,
Now, when you came back on that trip in December of 32,
32.
if I understand correctly, you met Mommy on the boat?
Right, on the boat.
Not on the boat.
Not on the boat.
Walking to get the boat.
Well, tell me, Mom, how did you meet her? Wait,
We
Mom,
walked
Mom.
together. A lot of
Where
people
was it? Where was it? What city?
It was in
in
Cherbourg, I
France.
think.
In
In
France.
France.
Yeah.
You had gone to France to get the boat.
Yeah.
With who? Just your mother?
Alone.
No,
My
she
mother
was
was
alone.
here a year
I
already.
didn't know that. Your
My mother
was
came
here
before a year before me.
And you remained in Hungary with a relative for a year, with somebody?
By
Yeah, with
herself.
Bella's parents.
With Bella's parents for that last year
Yeah,
till you could come.
yeah.
Why did you come one at a time?
Well, my mother came because the children brought her up.
And did they bring you only one at a time because they didn't have money? Or
No,
because
I don't know whether they could have brought me up.
there was trouble
Only
getting...
the mother they could bring.
They couldn't bring
Only
her
the
out.
mother. And
They
then when
only-
my mother
It was
was
the same
here,
problem, couldn't get paper.
okay, when my mother was here, then they were allowed to bring me up.
So it had to do with getting papers. The mother had to come first.
Yeah,
It wasn't because of the
absolutely.
money.
Yes.
Okay, so you had to come one at a time because you couldn't come together.
Yep.
So your mother came a year before you and you remained there
Yeah.
for that year and then you came. So you came by yourself to Sherbrooke.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was born 1909 and this was 1921.
32.
I mean 1932.
32, December 32. Must be
Yeah.
December 32 in Sherbrooke.
Yeah.
You were 1909. You were
23.
23 years old.
23.
You're 23 years old and you met him walking to the boat.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly how.
But you don't remember
Wait a minute,
because
wait a
you
minute,
don't
wait a
care.
I know that you had to give somebody a tip, I remember, and you didn't have any change.
And
so
you
I
gave the
you a
tip. And did I ever? Now you're going to ask me for the money.
So in other words, I don't know, because I think were already on the boats at that time. And she came in, I think she came with a little boat to the ship, I think something like that. Know what I mean? I was on the boat already. And she came from the port with a little boat because the ship didn't stop at the ship. I think I took the ship.
I don't remember it this
Where did
way.
I take the ship? I don't remember. From Poland I went. I don't remember where did I embark on.
So you don't remember what I
Anyway,
remember? Not like.
Not like that. Mommy remembers it different. How do you remember it?
I remember it. I remember walking to a boat. I don't know whether the regular big
Or
boat
the
or
smaller
a
one.
smaller boat, but I walked with him to a boat.
With Daddy.
Yes, took a.
Now, how did you speak to one another?
Well, people speak to each other.
German.
Did you ever speak to a strange person? People speak.
No.
I speak to
Wait,
people.
wait, come on. I speak to strange people constantly. but
Yiddish,
that's what I'm asking
Yiddish,
you.
no?
What language did you speak?
Yiddish.
German.
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 Oh, that's right. He even used to write to me cards in German. I spoke German then.
You learned German
Yeah.
from an instructor
That's
back
right.
home.
A priest.
a priest. And so it was your school
minister,
German you were
minister.
using,
Yeah.
and you also learned German in school?
Yeah, of
Or
course.
you were actually speaking Yiddish?
No, I learned German
No,
in
he
school
spoke
too.
German.
You spoke German.
Of course.
That's actually amazing, because I went to City College.
This college, there, gymnasium is not like a college.
Let me tell you something.
It's like at least 2 years.
If you remember,
college.
when I went to City College, I took 3 years of German.
Yeah,
3 years. Susan and I went to Czechoslovakia.
yeah. And you spoke German.
I
there.
went to a man, and I didn't speak any Czech, and not so many people spoke English. And someone came to me, and he was selling money. And in those days, you could buy money in the street. Everybody was selling money.
Yeah,
And I spoke to him in my best German, but I mean straight from City College.
yeah.
And he took one look at me, and he said, Ich Yiddish euch." So your German must have been better than my German, because I couldn't fool anybody. And as you know, I don't speak Yiddish either, so my Yiddish is better than my German's not too good. But anyway, but you spoke German to one another.
German, sure.
Which is, so both you were learning actually.
You know what happens when you learn a language and just to speak like that you can, but when you have to, you remind yourself
No,
when you speak fluently. Is it so?
I took the exam in German and languages when I took the exam to enter to college here.
It was German
I
you
took
used.
German 2 years, I think, or whatever it was, and Spanish I took. You know what I mean?
By that time, you actually could pass a German exam and a Spanish exam, and you certainly
Yeah, this-
could have passed a Russian and Polish exam as well.
Well, the Spanish he could
They wouldn't have
easily.
it, but it wasn't.
If he came from Argentina, the Spanish he could easily.
But only 2 years in Argentina. Not everybody.
No,
Some
if you
people live in
lived
Argentina
there.
and are still speaking Yiddish. I met them.
No,
in Rivera, I
you
met them.
could-
Not
you
everybody
could-
learns languages like that. So at that time you spoke, by that time you already spoke English too. You learned that here well enough to pass the exam.
Not
And
that-
at that point you spoke pretty good English, German, Spanish, Russian and Polish,
Right.
and Hebrew.
Hebrew.
Tanakh Hebrew.
That's right.
I know you're surprised. You should hear Eva. She knows every language
I'm
in
sure.
the whole world.
I'm sure we did. He was at
But
this
she
time
knows
only
it
26 years
fluently.
old.
You know, she's unbelievable. In Europe, everybody speaks more than one language because one country could be as small as New Jersey and one country would have less population than New York City. You know, and they're very close to each
And
other.
of course.
So everybody speaks language.
So you met Daddy, and now when you came to America, then you sailed together to America.
No, he went to tell my people that I arrived.
Ah, you had to stay on Ellis Island a little bit. Is that what
I
it
had
was?
to say they had to come to take me out.
Right. So you went to tell them that you saw her on the ship.
We expected them to be there at the boat, but they weren't.
They weren't.
So I went down myself and I came to their house and yes,
Bertha's
and
house.
them.
She
And,
lived on
And
4th Street.
they weren't even home at that time when when I was there. I remember. So later on they went to the Ellis Island and took her off.
So you went to see Bertha. At that time, it was Bertha's house, Nami says.
I think he bought her Jenny, something like
No,
that.
Bertha's.
And Grandma lived with the
Grandma.
mother's mother lived with them then.
Yeah, yeah. My
Grandma-
mother lived with Bertha, I lived with Jenny. I don't like to talk about it.
But you lived with Jenny and Bertha. Why? It's upsetting. Those days were very
They were
bad.
very
They
poor,
were very bad
Jenny.
days.
They were so poor that it's unbelievable.
What was Jenny doing?
Jenny's husband worked for the 999.
Shlomi already had delicatessen business at that time.
He stayed here
Yeah.
very short time when he opened that factory.
When did Bertha come?
Bertha came, Jenny came
What am I call 1928 or
20,
Only 4 or 5 years before you.
oh, less than 5.
Less than 5.
4 years.
Several years
Yes.
before you, she came with Shlomi.
And when he came here, he was teaching children for a bar mitzvah or something.
Shlomi was.
Shlomi. And then there was a very big factory, and Bramfman, a kosher delicatessen, and he went to Bramfman and he told them that he came to America and he has I don't know how many children. He has nothing to live on, and he said he wouldn't care if he shovels the snow or cleans the place, but he wants to work for him, and they took him in. And
This was close to Depression time.
it was depression.
It was Depression.
And when you know that they closed the banks, they lost money in the bank. Anyway, they gave him work. They were very nice, and they gave him work inside that he knew what they do and how they do it. And he was working there a very short time when Bronfman's son-in-law took in some non-kosher non-kosher merchandise, and Bronfman had to close the business, and Shlomi opened the business, another business.
A different one, or did he buy Bronfman's?
No, in a different place.
And he opened it
Can you
because he
imagine?
was out of work and he thought that was a good time to do it, or he was actually saw that since Bronfman was
didn't-
gone,
He didn't know what to do, and then he learned a little.
he knew the business and he was out of a job, so he opened up.
Not out of a job, but they closed because it wasn't kosher, so he felt he'll open a kosher store. He looked like a rabbi with a beard and all.
Right.
And he combined with two people, others.
He took two partners.
Who knew how to manufacture.
How
He had
to-
two partners who also knew the
Those
business.
weren't, yeah, but they weren't so religious like he, the two of them. So he took them, he went in together, three, and they opened the regular
And they opened up
$9.99
$9.99, which is real kosher provisions.
kosher, and you know why, Izzy tells me now, you know why they called it $9.99?
$9.99 Delancey Street.
Yeah, but
No, $9.99 is the number of these inspector stickers.
how did you know?
It's still on it. Inspections sticker $9.99.
Oh, that's
I
what
always do.
Izzy
I always
said
do.
they inspected it and it was $9.99 and that's why they
Yeah. and
they
Izzy's-
called it
Izzy's-
$9.99.
Izzy still uses the name.
It was called actually before the European kosher.
European
It's-
kosher,
And
also
Izzy still
$9.99.
calls his European
That's
kosher.
right.
They have several names they use. It's
This
all theirs.
was-
European kosher,
Shlomis was-
real
and they-
kosher is theirs. $9.99 and $88 is all there.
Listen,
Izzy
but
still uses it.
Shlomis was called $9.99 American kosher meat product. And
Never,
the Baltimore was,
never. American kosher was Daddy's.
oh, yours was
Yeah,
there?
never.
American kosher.
His was called European kosher and also real
European
kosher.
kosher. American kosher
Was
was for
Daddy's.
Baltimore.
It was Daddy's. It was not Baltimore, believe me. They owned European kosher, the name.
Not that at all. Shlomi opened a factory with the two partners, and they called themselves.
I know it. Real
American
kosher.
kosher
no,
meat
no,
product.
not real kosher. No, they called themselves
American
European
kosher. European
kosher,
kosher.
okay.
European kosher. Then, a couple of years later, they bought another factory on Rivington Street. They bought off, and there they called themselves real kosher. And there they got government inspection, and there they got the $9.99.
99 brand. So then they had all three names. At that point, the second store, the two other names came with the second operation.
That's right.
By that time, the goods, I see. Okay, so you came, Shlomi was already established, but Jenny was not doing well.
No, her husband, they gave work. You see what happened? He was about tshuva. So he wasn't...
This is Al you're talking about.
Al. Didn't mean so much. It meant to him more that his son, the 4 years old, should go every morning with him to shul.
I
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it meant that 5 o'clock he should be home to go to shul again.
Now, he was
He
about
was-
tshuva from Israel. Was he born in Israel, Al?
He was
Yeah.
born in Israel.
Born in Palestine, actually, I should say.
Palestine.
But his family was from Eastern Europe originally, or do we know?
They were Polish
Galician.
background.
Yeah,
From
Galician.
Galicia. So they were Galiciana.
I don't see why the Galician they look down to so much.
Well, the Galiciana also down the Litvaks. Everybody looked down everybody. They're still doing it in Israel. The Sfardim
Yeah.
and Ashkenazim. Everybody looks down everybody. But anyway, so I see. So he was born in Israel, in Palestine, was a Baal Tshuva.
No.
He was a Baal
born in
Tshuva.
He was born in Palestine, and they came here, and he was quite a free young man, and he worked in factories, and then he got up to get a little store of his own. I don't know.
Anyway, they
In
went
the-
bankrupt.
in the
his
garment
father.
line, in the underwear line or something like that. Anyway, and he went bankruptcy, and they couldn't do anything. So
They
after
took him
that, Shlomi gave him a little help.
When he had the business underwear, whatever, was he already married to Jenny?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
when
course.
Shlomi came, they didn't have what to live on.
of course. So after Shlomi opened the factory, so he gave him some delicatessen, and he used to
Go to stores to sell it.
and sell to the store delicatessen.
He went with a truck, he put out delicatessen and sell it in
like
stores.
sales.
So he had a route.
Yeah,
the road.
around.
Yeah.
Gave him a route.
Around.
Meyer
Shlomi
did that
did
too.
that. Meyer did that always
Oh,
for Shlomi and for everybody else.
wait a minute.
That's Meyer.
That's it. That's like that.
No?
Meyer
Meyer.
worked for Shlomi.
He gave part of his
Meyer
road.
worked.
Meyer had a route.
Meyer had
Meyer,
the
and
route.
Meyer was a route man always.
That's right.
Okay.
Meyer had the route. And then when Al couldn't make a living or didn't know what to do with it, so Meyer gave him part of his route.
Meyer
gave
actually
him-
was the one who helped me out.
Meyer gave him the route,
You,
and he started to go on Meyer's route.
you don't know what it means when there is nothing to live on and you can't get
I
work.
don't know what it means, I can imagine.
It's a horrible thing.
So
And to have
Meyer
children.
People I know,
gave
people
him
killed
part
themselves.
of his route, and not part, I think nearly everything. And Meyer started to build up himself a different route for himself, Meyer. And he gave Alan his route. And Alan's route was to stores, delicatessen, not delicatessen, but grocery stores mostly. So he could easily make it that to come home in the evening early.
Easily, he
go to
would have
shul,
come home, you
and-
know, these
and
very Orthodox,
in the morning
they-
go out after shul. I mean, it wasn't such a, he could have had short time.
his
short
number
hours.
one thing was to earn and to give tzedukah.
I
You
understand.
know, very tzedukish.
I understand, he was very religious.
Very,
And that's when he got the religious. That's when he became the Bolshevik.
He became
He
religious
became
during
the
this
Bolshevik
time.
During that time, when he got the
that's
route.
right, when they got married, he wasn't.
Uh-huh.
So that's when he became
So he
Bolshevik.
simply
Because he
became
comes
religious.
from an Orthodox
See what
I
family.
happened?
understand.
No, he started to work with Shmuel Shlomo. So he tried to be like Shmuel Shlomo or like the others.
I
He
understand.
became religious.
He liked it more.
In order that they should be able to give him some help, you know. So that's how he became.
But he became more Orthodox than
Then
they are.
slightly ultimately,
Because
I
he
understand.
would need OU. And you know why he didn't need OU?
Why?
Because his sister had some kind of a little store, drinks, and she was very Orthodox, so she wanted to have the OU, but she was also a very mixed up person. And she paid for it, but they never came to inspect.
So he didn't trust him anymore.
So then he would go to weddings or somewhere, he never eat OU.
And I remember eventually they said of him that he stopped eating out altogether.
Absolutely, you know, the
Any
older,
place,
the older he got, the more.
the more rigid.
Oh, that's why they made Sonny divorce also, because Sonny's wife took a walk with them in Flatbush and Saturday, and she stopped at the windows to look at the clothes on a Saturday. And that they couldn't take
didn't like that.
already. And
It wasn't exactly
Eddie.
this way.
Anyway, whatever.
You don't
Let
know.
me go back for a moment. So, Mom, meanwhile, you come in now, and this is what's the situation with the rest of your family is here. Your mother is living with Jenny.
with Bertha, and
With Bertha.
I lived with
And
Jenny
you lived with Jenny.
for 1 year.
And where,
I
at that
lived for
time, where
1
was
year
Jenny
only,
living?
and then we took an apartment. Jenny got a little apartment on 3rd Street between C and D, Avenue C and Avenue D.
And Bertha lived also nearby.
And I remember, and Bertha lived a block away, 4th Street. And I remember whenever when Bertha didn't speak English at all, I feel like crying. And whenever Jenny went to Bertha sent her to the school to ask the teacher how the children are doing.
Her children, Jenny, who spoke
Yeah.
English. Jenny spoke English.
Jenny spoke
She
English,
should go ask the
Bertha
teacher
didn't,
to see how the
but
kids-
Jenny said each time I walked into her house, she sent me right away to the
school.
to find out how the children
What
are.
school were the kids going to?
The school was also on 4th Street.
Yes, 4th,
About
Yes.
two houses,
Yes, 4 is not a full school.
2 buildings away.
But
from
public school.
Public school,
They were going to
elementary school.
Everybody was going to elementary public school at that time.
What do you?
All right. Now, well, I didn't go anymore. That's why I asked. They could have gone to Beis Yaakov or something.
No, they
No,
didn't.
no, they didn't. It wasn't. Girls didn't go to these yeshivas
Yeah, okay.
at all. I don't even think they had.
I think Beis Yaakov, they may have already had, but they didn't
Bertha's
go.
children didn't go to yeshiva. Never.
They all went,
none of
that's
them.
what I asked. They all went to public school at that time.
Oh.
And
And
you
they
lived-
went to Talmud Torah.
so
the girls.
And went to Talmud Torah after school. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Now, after so meanwhile you were living with
Jenny.
Jenny, and
And
your mother
Jenny
was
had-
living with
We
Bertha.
lived with Jenny. Jenny had one regular bedroom and another one, a little one like our little room. And that was rented, that little room, a boarder was in it. The rent was something like $15, and they had a boarder in that little room. And Jenny had 3 children and her husband, and they all slept in one room, and I slept in the living room.
You slept in the living room. They slept in one, 5 people.
Yes.
And the boarder slept in the small room.
Slept in the small room.
And the apartment was those
and
rooms.
That boarder also worked there in that factory.
And the apartment had a kitchen and a bathroom, and that was it.
Yeah. You have
Was the bathroom in the apartment or in the hall?
No, in the
No,
park.
they
In
had
the
a
park.
bathroom. I remember the rat came up in the toilet.
A rat came up out of the toilet?
Yeah, I saw it. Mhm.
And so you lived there 1 year,
Yeah.
and then you got a job?
Then I got a job. Well, I learned first I went to work in a factory where they made dolls. But what shall I tell you? Very big ones, like.
No, first you were work in the packages of candy.
Oh, first I worked in a place where I made little boxes. So I walked, I don't know how long, walked there. I should have spent coffee. And I brought home boxes to put it together, so Jenny's children had such a fun to put together the boxes. And the following morning I went back to the boxes and I filled it up with dates and mixed the nuts, raisin, and you have to cover it with plastic.
Cellophane in those days.
Yeah, and I made something like $3 a week.
$3 a week.
Or even less.
Folding the boxes
Even
and
less.
packaging it with candy
Yeah,
and dates.
absolutely.
They were fancy boxes
But
sometimes.
8 hours. Yeah.
And then she went
And
to
then I went with Eleanor. There was also Tsarist. With Eleanor I went.
Your
to
brother Morris was already married to Eleanor.
Yeah,
Are you
and
living
she
here
made
also?
neckties.
And Eleanor was making neckties. Okay.
Not Eleanor, just Maya made.
Morris.
Morris made neckties. So I went with Eleanor to look for a job, and we found a job to pack dolls. But what shall I tell you? They were this big, and you have to pack, I don't know, a few pennies a dozen. To dress them, to dress the dolls, yeah. And we made, they're also only $3 a week. And then I had this cousin Fanica, you know.
Wait, this was a different job, or you tried to both at the same time?
No, we changed it. I
You
changed it.
You left the packing job and went to
And
dress
I went
dolls.
to dress dolls. We
with
thought
Eleanor,
we'll be able to
make a little more,
yeah.
but it wasn't more anyway.
No, it was very little. There were so many workers there and millions of dolls. Unbelievable. They were beautiful, big dolls. And then I had a cousin who made neckties.
Which cousin was this?
Like this tie.
Fanica.
Fanica.
And she made ties. Her husband was an artist. Paintings he did. Like they had one of his paintings in the museum too. But he didn't make a living. Nobody made a living. Nobody. So I went to Fanica and she taught me how to make ties.
Now, she owned a small tie business, or she
No,
worked?
she did. She worked for.
She worked for somebody.
But when I made $3 on the dolls, when I knew already how to make ties, I made 18.
It was a big difference.
Yes.
So the ties
The
was much
bookkeeper made 16 in that place, and I made already 18 that night. But I brought home work for at night or for Sunday.
So you worked a lot of hours to make 18.
Yes.
But if you worked very hard, you could make as much as 18.
Yeah.
And the dollars, you could hardly make 3.
Yeah.
So
See, it was a lot
did
of
much
difference.
better job.
So then we moved when we
and they tell you the ties were on Allen Street like all the other
no,
ties? No.
the ties, no.
Later.
Oh, I worked on Ellen Street too.
Also, but
when
the
I
first
got
one-
married, I worked on Ellen
But this
Street.
first job was not on Allen Street. The ties
No,
were
the
not.
first was on 34. The first one was on 36th Street and Broadway.
So
It
you have-
was very close to Gimbel's. You know,
So now
when
you-
you go 35th Street or 34th Street.
So you had to take a bus or something. I mean,
I walked home to Avenue D.
you walked from 34th and Broadway
Yeah.
to 3rd Street and Avenue D,
Yeah.
or 4th and Avenue D,
Yeah.
routinely, regularly?
Yes. There I went by
You
train.
took a train there and walked home to save the car
I
fare.
walked home to save a nickel.
even when you were making $18 already.
Yeah,
It was a nickel fare at that time?
absolutely, and they go,
Yeah, but she then already they had their own, she had her own apartment.
With your with her
She had
mother?
With her mother and Maya.
And Meyer.
And
At
Meyer.
that point, you, your mother, and Meyer got together and got an apartment separate from Bertha. And so now
Yes.
Bertha lived in one place, Jenny in the other, and you and in a
well,
bit near each
Meyer,
other.
till then Meyer lived with Morris to help out Morris.
Meyer was living with Morris, you were living with Jenny,
Jenny.
your mother was living with Bertha.
Yeah.
Then, the other way around.
We took up an apartment and they came together, all the three of them.
Okay, so now your family has
And-
3 apartments.
Yeah.
Jenny in one,
I'll
Bertha
tell
in one,
you-
and you and your mother and Meyer in the other, all in the same neighborhood.
Right,
Yes, very close. People lived close to each other those days, nobody.
sure.
Everybody lived on the east side. You read that book, I think The World of Our
I
Fathers.
lived there too. I remember.
Oh, you lived on
So, on Ridge Street.
Ridge Street.
So tell me
Yeah,
something.
but that was already rich.
That was already rich.
And you could call it rich.
It was not
You
Monroe
could
Strasse.
call it rich,
Rich Street,
in
right.
comparison, but we
It
lived
wasn't-
also in a one-bedroom
It wasn't
apartment,
Monroe
didn't
Strasse.
we?
Yes, we did. We didn't have too many boarders, a lot of other families, but we did live in one-bedroom apartment.
Well, before you were born, no, before Carol was born, we did them.
Actually, I understand.
Rose
Used to bring
lived
a lot of.
with us.
Rose used to bring a lot of boarders too. Didn't pay. She used to bring guests.
She gets.
Yes.
They picked them up in the street, you know.
Tell
They
me so,
used to-
at that time.
they got carried away if they saw a landsman or a cousin, then they all finished. You know?
No, but Rose was also very left-wing, so she picked up people who were poor who weren't necessarily lots of cousins, I
She
believe.
brought once to us a girl that she really picked up in the street, you know. And we weren't married yet, and I was with my mother and Maya. And she brought to me a girl, she should stay with me because she picked her up in the street. Then I was taught she was a very orthodox.
Now, where was Rose
She
living
made
then?
Kiddush,
Where was
my
Rose
mother
living?
wasn't home. Rose lived where Eddie lived with that aunt.
Rose was.
You listen to this.
On Monroe
She
Strasse.
brought that girl, and that girl didn't tell Rose who she is, what she is, but she was sitting in the park crying. So I took that girl to our house. My mother was away in Bertha, summer vacation. And I took in that girl, and I told her that I could get a job for her because Rose is working. I'll take her there. I didn't know anything about her, and she went to see that it was a factory. They made kitchen curtains. And she said to me, "Das shinish," just like this. She was sick, and she wasn't able to get a doctor. I don't know why. So I took her to the clinic. She was very sick. Anyway, she told me she has a husband. Her uncle went to Israel, Palestine, and she got married there, and she came with her husband. Her uncle brought her out. But she is really a writer. And she never wrote, but she could.
Right.
She was so comical. And she left her husband because she went with her husband to the World's Fair. And she looked around, and she said, she was telling me what she did. And she said that she could write about these things and those things, and her husband was laughing, and she left them. And she went to the park, and she met Rose. And she told me that, so she told me that she came out with her husband, and an uncle was in Europe, and is in Palestine, and he brought her out. And I said, "Give me your uncle's telephone number or something." So I called up the uncle, and she came to my house.
He came.
Yeah, he came to my house, and he told me that she's not all there, and she took him away.
He took
He
her away.
He took her away.
So she was not a
What?
real person. She didn't sound like a real person from what you described.
To me, she sounded terrible. You know, she sounded terrible. But Rose knew her a few days before she brought her to me.
Just
She
on the
didn't know
street,
where
you
to.
know.
On the street, in the park, she was sitting alone. You know, now they would call them homeless.
I would call her homeless even then.
You know, but she was so, she said, how can a man say to a woman that she thought that she's way above everybody, you know?
She had some delusions.
But I was sorry for her.
And so tell me, you, at that time...
And then he divorced her. I don't know what the uncle did with her. But uncle told me that she isn't well, and he was thankful that I called him and he took her to his house.
So you knew Daddy's family in general already? Everybody knew everybody? Rose and you and Meyer and your sisters, everybody knew everybody already from the beginning, from the time you got up the boat?
Sort of. You know, it takes 100
Well,
years to know. It takes 100 years to know
I knew
people.
them as soon as she came.
Right.
Yeah. But Rose came a
A
year
year
later.
after.
Ah, right.
Only a year
So
later.
when Rose came, she was already working in the ties, and she already tried to take Rose in.
Rose came, and Rose was very, very sensitive. She cried very easily. You know, unbelievable. So I made the tie, and I told her that it takes time to learn it. It's not like making a bottom of a skirt or something. A little bit hard to shape it up. Some of them couldn't learn it really at all. You know, this art, this craftsy thing, like Elaine is going to be very good in it. You know, but not
But you have the fingers for it, yeah.
I don't know. You have to have the feeling, the fingers, like Lexi. She already makes a square, like, and Nicole always wanted me to make something for her. So Phyllis said, I tried so hard to teach her how to crochet, but she'll never know.
So Rose couldn't do the ties very well ever, or she just got very
No,
distracted?
Rose used to go to a factory and she would cry. She was very insecure and unhappy. So she got somehow a job, something else to do, folding kitchen curtains, but only folding it, not sewing it. So that's where she worked, is it though? I know, she even brought me a kitchen curtain from the kitchen.
And so when did you get married?
6 years after.
6 years later,
Yeah, 6 years later.
approximately 6 years later. I was
I
born
think-
in 42.
It was a 6 years later.
This is
6 later.
Well, yeah.
From the time
from
we
the time you
No,
arrived.
it was 8 years.
8 years.
8 years, 1940.
8 years, huh?
1940.
94.
So you knew each other 8 years before you
8
were married.
years.
Right, all right. It was 7 years after.
And you want to know something? I don't know whether he would have ever gotten married if his aunt doesn't die. His aunt died that he lived with,
So
so
you got
then he
stuck, huh?
said, now we have to. He
I
said,
see.
but I was telling Dr. Felsher, you know, she was like a psychologist, and she said he wouldn't have married if his aunt didn't die.
So your aunt died, you got married, and you moved in directly to Ridge Street,
Yeah.
the apartment that I remember.
And Moshe Davidovich moved there too. He got married the same time.
And Moshe Davidowitz
Yeah,
also lived,
they lived
on Ridge-
under us, huh?
under us, 4A,
4A, right.
directly under us.
Direct under us.
You remember the
Right.
number?
Remember the number?
Okay, we were 5.
5A was us.
That's
5B was Fliegelman. 5C was the photographer.
Bernstein.
Bernstein. And Barbara was the daughter.
That's
I remember everything about that
Who
building.
was the photographer?
He took a few pictures of us. The only pictures we have of me and the kids, he
Oh, I remember
Bernstein,
6
yeah.
months in the
Bernstein.
crib.
Mhm.
We
Right.
lost all those pictures, you know?
took. In the
water-
flood.
We had.
Yeah,
But the water damaged a lot of them.
the water
There
then.
were some of them, but we had a lot of them.
I have a few. From the days when I used to do photography, I made some extras of some of those, and I still have a few.
Well, enjoy your children, because when they'll grow up, it's not the same.
Not the same. They're already growing up.
You
it's
have to
already-
beg them, go lose weight.
Right.
Mm.
Anyway, so you moved into Ridge Street for $50
But
a
do
month.
you think people who have no children could be happy?
Sure, I see that.
Yeah, they happy?
Absolutely. So you moved into Ridge Street at that time. You were still working on the ties?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I worked till I was pregnant with you, like 7 months.
So you worked on the ties till Arnold was born. In the same place, or you moved a few
No,
places?
I changed once or twice.
You
I
changed
changed
5
only
places.
once or twice.
Now the tie business was, if I remember, mostly on Allen Street and mostly Hungarians.
No,
No.
not mostly Allen Street. The good time makers, Allen Street was a little store and they made toys. But the big ones were on Broadway.
Uh-huh.
Big,
Those are
big
much bigger ones.
factories with a lot of workers. They had like only this type of workers. Some of them had 20 workers just to put it together.
Just to
Morris made the machine part of it, you know. You need a machine to put a hammer on, to put it together. And then they had cutters and presses. And
Morris worked in the same place you worked?
No.
No. He also worked on ties, but not in the same place.
No.
And
Well, he was a very good worker, but he was very disappointed that they always wanted to do something, but he had no schooling. And he was so poor, but he's willing to pay for Meyer. He should stop working and he should go back to school. Because Meyer was raised in Bestedt, so he had 4 years high school also.
Ah, in Bestedt, so the school system was different than Woodbury.
Well, that was a big city.
I see.
And that big city, they had a lot of people there from Austria, from Vienna, Jewish people who ran away from some of them. I don't know what they Galitz people in Bukovina.
Bukovina was Bukovina.
Bukovina, yes, but they all spoke German.
That's right.
And very, very few people could go to gymnasium. But my aunt's son, who was very, very bright, he went even to medical school to Italy.
The aunt who raised Meyer.
Yeah, who raised Meyer.
Meyer lived with them, so therefore Meyer had more schooling than people who remained in Woodbury.
That's
He
right.
came here, and Morris always wanted him to go more.
And he played the violin on his own, so Morris felt that Meyer could do it, and he should go, but he wasn't so anxious to go back.
Meyer himself was not so anxious to go, so he got jobs here and there. Now, what were you doing in the meantime, Dad? That's 8 years from the time that you came back
He was working.
to the time you got married. Where were you
I
working?
came back from Europe. That time I worked for an accountant for $18 a week, I remember.
For another accountant.
That's
No, you
right.
You already had your degree.
You
from
see
city
how
college.
little they paid, that they
made
paid
the
for
same
a
as
good
him?
worker.
You're
Yeah.
making approximately the same money.
Because it was more important than to do good factory work than office work.
I understand.
There were
It was all
what shall I
kinds
say?
of
It was
work.
easier to get those kind of workers than good factory
The
workers.
truth is that even much, much later, and even today, an assistant accountant makes less than most factory workers today. Most factory workers, of course, today are union workers, but even today, a clerk, it's a white-collar job, all right, but it doesn't pay any more than that. Even today, it's still more or less the same. Everybody's making more than 18, but it's still about the same. Absolutely, still about the same. If you're an accountant and work for a very big firm, or if you're CPA or something of that nature, is one thing. But if you're a bookkeeper, you could easily make just as little as the factory worker, easily.
But I like to work this. You know that when you were already grown up, I went back. You remember? I was very upset when everybody went away. So
Excuse me.
when everybody went away, when you got married,
Yeah. You went back where?
to work,
To work.
to make ties.
Right.
So I spoke to Fanica and I was crying. I felt terrible. I looked at the map on the wall, on the kitchen wall, and she said she'll take me into work. So she took me into her place, and the man asked me, when did you work last? So I told him, I don't know how many years, 10 years ago. He said, you wouldn't know it. But we had planned to go to Mexico then, you remember?
Uh-huh.
So I worked there a week, and I told them that just like Carol told that she has to go skiing. So I told them that a week later we have to go to Mexico, and when I'll come back, I'll start to work. So he said he would like I should work first for him a few days. So I worked, and he said, how come you remember how to do it? But when you know something somehow, you do.
It's like riding a bicycle. You never forget it.
You never forget it. Is it
It stays
so?
in your fingers. Certain things stay in your fingers. Once you know how to ride a
Yeah,
bicycle,
I
you
was
never-
surprised too.
So you went back. So anyway, what were you doing? What kind of work were you doing, Danny?
After I came from Europe.
Assistant, I'm sorry, assistant bookkeeper of some kind. You worked for an accountant.
Yes, for $18 a week. That's what, and
$18 was money then.
and I worked for quite a while there, a couple of years, I think. And then
You went
Small.
to Silver.
to what?
Silvers. Didn't you work for Silver in the beginning?
Silver, yes, also, that's right.
On
I
the
worked
Lower
for
East
Silver
Side.
Also, but this was a side, I mean, I
It's
accept.
another job. You had a job on the
right.
side at the same
That's right.
time.
I had a couple of accounts that time, yeah.
He worked every day of the week.
Silver's account, and I remember, anyway.
So you started actually picking up accounts as well
That's
as working
right,
for this
exactly,
guy.
Right. But I still didn't pick up much, you see what I mean? So there was no base to get married and that. So then Shmoshweme told me that he knows somebody that was in business in the midline with the brother-in-law and they couldn't get along. So he's looking for a partner to open a business. So he recommended me. And he also wanted to be one of the partners for Shlomo.
Shlomo.
So we did that. So I met that man, and that's when we opened
And that man didn't get along with him either.
the midline.
On Attorney Street, in the same place I remember?
Same place.
You know what they did
And it was
in them?
already American Kosher, is that what
Yeah,
it
that's
was?
right. That's when we opened American Corporation called American Kosher.
You invented the name just then. It was not the name of this man's old business.
No, not to do with the old man. Which old man?
The third partner who he said didn't get along with his other partner. He left the other partner and you opened up a brand new business.
Right, a brand new business.
Shlomi, more or less, Shlomi.
Shlomo didn't do any
Shlomi provided
mortgage
capital, I
yet.
assume.
Capital, a little capital.
Shlomo was a silent partner.
Silent partner. And you and this other man
And I another man.
were going to work the business
That's what the business, right?
on Attorney Street.
But
Right.
he didn't work there. He just had men to do it.
You didn't go in every day to that place.
Every day I went in.
But he did the bookkeeping.
Originally they said that I don't have to come in every day. I could do my work and just
still, okay.
and remember to yourself. But then I realized that that's not the way to do things, because if I invest money, I want to see what's doing there.
So you had money to invest?
Yes, I got money from my cousins. They always gave. They
So
gave
you
me.
did get money from your cousins to invest in this business.
I borrowed from them.
Borrowed from them.
From Shia and.
And Shlomi also put in money?
Shlomi also put in money.
And this other
right.
partner also?
And the other part didn't put any money.
No, he put in, he was the butcher.
He
though.
put the work.
He was the, I
The now-
understand.
Not the
I
butcher,
understand.
he was like the salesman.
He was.
Oh.
He was a
He had to sell
manager.
And he put in the work though. He was,
He
in the
was
bus-
managing.
He knew the business.
That's right.
Okay.
He knew the
I-
business.
And they had a driver also.
The
They
driver's
had-
name was Pina.
Who?
Pina.
Pina was the butcher.
I put you as butcher. I remember
The
Pina.
driver was with the beard, you know, Benzin.
Benzin.
Benzin. I don't remember Benzin. I remember Pina.
Pina was the butcher.
How
So,
do you remember? You were
Because
so
I'll
young.
tell you how I remember, but go ahead.
So we started to work together, and it was all right. Then
So you were going in a little bit also as time went on,
yeah,
every day to that
Every
business, but you
day,
still had your
every-
accounting business with
yes,
this other
I
guy?
used to do that on the weekends, or only the account.
So the accounting now is weekends?
Weekend.
You were working in the shop every day?
That's right.
Okay.
And was in the shop the whole day. So
What
Like day and night.
What year was this that you opened up the
in
business?
1937,
37 you opened up the business.
that's right.
Now, and then shortly after that, it became
Wait,
quite
wait.
good, the meat business.
In 1937, we worked together about I think, 19 months or something like that. Was 37.
What was your partner's name?
Irving Berger.
Irving Berger.
Yes. So we stayed with him together for about a year or so, and then he started monkeying around.
With the books or the
with
money
the
or
books, with money.
the money?
Yeah, he used to, for example, he used to sell the meat. So he used to sell me that he sold it a $0.25 less than he actually sold, and he took it from that man either a quarter or 80%. I don't know how much. It was big, you know, it was a big amount.
I understand.
Because it's wholesale.
Right.
It was big, it's
And
quantity.
then-
So he was taking off the top a little bit for himself.
That's right.
And you found
then,
out.
And then he used to, he had appointed with the garage man. He used to give him a bill that he fixed his car for $70, $40. And he gave me the bill, I should pay the bill. And I paid. But then, I know what happened, that I called in another garage man to take a look at the car. So the garage man came in, and he goes down to the car and he
So this is
says,
the truck you're talking about?
no,
No,
Yes,
car.
they bought a car.
They bought a car for the
he had,
business.
He had the car. Yeah, he bought that, then he had an old car, and then he got the new car. Anyway, the garageman tells me that nobody fixing nobody fixed the car. It is the old the dirt that the
part, yeah.
car is still on the car here. So he came and I told him everything what happened. The man told me that there was no fixing. He said, what do you mean there was no fixing? There was fixing, maybe. So what happened?
So you broke up with him?
So something like that. Then I told him that we cannot go that way. Yeah, go on that way. So he went away.
Did you have to buy him off, or he had no?
He had no
He
money.
had no money
He
to
didn't
spend.
invest any money, not even a penny. And it was trouble. He took the car. He took a loan on the car. The car was ours because I paid from the business for the new car.
Right.
We had a lot of trouble with him. Finally, we got back the car, and we sold the car. I sold the car. And he went away.
All this time until now, Shlomi's still a partner.
Yeah.
Shlomi was still a partner all this time?
Shlomi, yeah.
Shlomi is still a partner all this time?
Right. But Shlomi was all about it. Now, what happened in when was that?
Long
I
ago.
think that, wait a while. After he went away, so he collected money for the merchandise that we sold, and
He was a very shrewd
he
business person.
didn't want to give it back somehow. He wanted I should pay off the slaughterhouses. You see what I mean? In other words, I considered bankrupt. I was bankrupt at that time, you see. So I settled with some of them, and some of them I didn't settle. The fact was that we were bankrupt. We lost, oh, that's how it was. It came to a point that we lost $6,000 while he was a partner yet. So I told him, Irving, look, $6,000 we lost. What shall we do? Well, he says to me, so he told me, do whatever you want, something like that, I don't know. Anyway, he went away and he left me with the business, with the broken business.
Was most of the $6,000 deficit his stealing, or most of it was you didn't do well in the business either?
What?
Was most of the $6,000 loss his stealing, or was most of it just the business wasn't very good?
It was a little of his stealing, and a little was
You just didn't do well.
cover the expenses.
Right.
And a lot of it was, most of it was that people didn't pay us for people couldn't pay us for the merchandise.
So most of it was the business was in trouble by
That's-
itself.
yes.
He stole in addition, but he didn't steal the whole $6,000.
No,
No.
not
How long
all
did he
of it.
stay with you? A year only?
About I think a year and a half or something like that. Something like that. From 37 to 39, I think. Anyway, so that's when we went bankrupt. So Shlomi already, there was no papa, no corporation anymore. So Shlomi was no more, so I remained alone. But
Did you officially dissolve the corporation?
yes.
You did, officially,
Officially, I don't remember. No, I don't think officially. We just dissolved, we didn't have any more money.
There's nothing
There
to
was
do,
no
so
corporation.
Did Shlomi
So-
get back his money out of it, or never?
He
Did Shlomi
did.
get back his
Shlomi
investment?
got back his money. Oh yes.
He did get back his money.
Shlomi said that he's going to keep the business open. And he said he wants his money back.
Dad said, I'm going to try to keep it going.
That's
Shlomi
right.
said, count me out, buy me back out
He didn't
again.
say count me out. He said if I'm not your partner, I want my money back.
You see what happened here, but I remained alone. And I didn't know what to do, frankly. So I was speaking to some people that we used to sell them, all in the neighborhood.
Clients, yeah.
So they told me, he said, don't worry, he said, you stay, you'll buy a little by yourself, little by little you'll get used to it, and you'll just be all right.
You didn't know what to do because you didn't know the business that well?
Well, in a year he didn't learn enough.
Right.
So finally it was that I remained, and I got to do little by little by myself.
And it worked out.
And it worked out, but that's when Shlomi came that he wants his money. And he sent me with the summons.
Well, he did.
Yeah.
He wanted his money back. He really wanted it back.
That's right.
He didn't want to remain a partner.
No, there was no partnership. I mean, there was no more. They couldn't become a partner because there was no business. I mean,
Well, there
I
was.
did
You
a
were
little
building it up,
business
you were
that I
building
did
it up again. You
by
were building-
myself. I did a little business for that. No, couldn't be a partner. And I wouldn't take him anyway. So that's when he served me a summons. Al brought the summons.
Al brought
to
the
me.
summons.
Al delivered the
Al
summons.
delivered it, because Al worked for him, you understand?
I understand.
So I'll deliver the
Al
summons.
worked for him, and he
And-
offered to bring it.
And
They
he,
didn't know how to send it. He said he'll bring
Now
it.
bring it.
he brought the summons, and
Did he issue a summons because you didn't want to give his money back, or is that
Yeah,
the way?
he didn't want to give
I
it back.
don't remember what
Well, if he would
was.
give it back, he wouldn't
Wouldn't
send the
enforce.
Yeah, of
summons.
course,
Why
I
do
didn't-
you ask
I didn't have to
questions?
give back, actually.
Well, you
Well,
did
anyway.
have when he gave you the summons, you gave it.
No, I didn't give him money. We gave him the summons. When he gave me the summons, so I told we had the mashgiach. We had, so I told him, look what happens. So he started to talk to Muslim anyway, and he made out that they should pay him out like, and I remember a little time, $20 a week or something like that. So I paid him out every week to $20.
How much did Shlomi have in the business?
Shlomi had,
$1,000.
I think about 2,000, something like that.
1,000. No,
Huh?
I remember 1,000.
1,000. she said.
1,000.
Yeah, and $20 a week is a year.
$20 would be, $20 a week would be a
A
year.
year, yeah, 1,000.
If it was $20 a week. Anyway, 102.
1,000 was $1,000 was a lot of
I
money
understand.
then.
So you paid Shlomi back little by little.
It was more than that.
Even more than that. Oh, whatever.
Whatever it was.
It was either $1,000 or $2,000, and you paid him back little by
I paid
little.
him back, but I paid him off
And the business remained
and
open.
It remained open. And that's how I struggled along. And this was an
Was this the time yet when Sabaret, you once told me, couldn't pay you?
Oh,
You used to sell, I think you once told me you used to sell meat to Sabaret, the hot dog company. The one that today is very, very big,
oh yeah,
Sabaret.
yeah.
Was that one of the companies at this time it couldn't pay you?
I
Is this when?
suppose so, I suppose.
Because I remember you told me once that
You
they
know,
That's right.
you know that it's like now in this country where the banks closed all of a sudden. When I came, Shlomi had a few dollars in the bank and it was closed. And they were so scared, everybody. It was terrible.
When you came, the bank was not closed already. The bank closed in 1929. You came in 1932, the bank was already open, I think, at that time. And the Shlomi lost money in a bank, you say?
Shlomi, yeah.
I don't
Possibly.
know.
He had money, he didn't lose it because when they opened
They
the
reopened
bank.
it, they closed it on it.
Yeah, but they were
Like they closed,
complaining.
they closed mine.
I
also.
didn't know what it means because we never had any problem with banks in
In
Europe.
Europe.
Never, it never closed.
The bank never closed.
We never
It
worried.
never opened and it
We
never closed.
never worried
Right.
that it's gonna close.
As long as the mattress is
You
still
have
there.
no idea the difference in life.
Sure, it was a much more complicated life.
Oh my God. You know, sometimes I feel guilty to live in a house.
After I
You know, Nicole asked Phyllis that when they go on a vacation, why can't they give the house to homeless people to live in it? They live in the street. She bothers her a lot even now.
So then you kept that business going.
kept the business going, so you see what happened at that time yet. In 1939, the war started, so things improved quite a bit.
During the war, it was a very good business during the war.
Right. It was a very good business.
Because the war wasn't here.
Right, of course.
Yes,
The war was in
No.
Europe and the
In
United
Europe-
States.
in Europe, there were no good businesses
When
here.
they had
So-
war all over, the
When
United
things-
States made money on it.
When
Right,
things
right.
improved a little, and I made a little living, that time we got married.
And then you got married. And then, yes, and yeah, the answer is yes, I do remember the business. I used to go very often,
And you went up sitting
To
in the
Attorney
truck and you
Street.
led a truck.
right,
And then,
And I remember,
and rolled backwards down Attorney Street.
and when you were like a year, 2 years old, there you walked across the bridge to show your cousin with you.
Right.
And she didn't like your looks. She said, not good looking.
Which cousin
Came
was this?
home. You know which cousin this was?
she didn't like
Pius.
She
Pius.
didn't
You
like
came home and you said that she said that he isn't good looking.
And where did Pia live? In Williamsburg?
in
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn.
In Williamsburg, just over the river.
And I was so angry. How can anybody talk like that to a man who walks on Shabbos, the bridge, to cross the bridge with a 2-year-old child?
I don't think I will say that.
Well, you don't think, but I know.
Okay.
That's what you told me. Maybe you just told me.
So anyway, I used to go quite often in the second grade,
Yeah.
I went to yeshiva by school bus.
Uh-huh.
After that, I actually took a regular bus quite often, the Avenue B bus,
That's
by
right.
myself. But in second grade, and maybe even third also, I'm not sure, I took the school bus.
Yeah.
But I used to miss it a lot. I used to sleep too late or something. I used to miss the school bus. If I missed the school bus, I walked to Attorney Street and Daddy took me to school.
Yeah.
Either to walk
He
or...
walked, yeah. Yeah, well, that was already when Carol was, Phyllis was a baby.
Of course.
Yeah.
I was in yeshiva, right? It was the
Otherwise,
second
I
grade.
would have gone
Right. So I used to walk, and I was in the business a lot, I remember, in the morning, and of course I used to visit.
You want to
other
know
times, too.
something?
I remember Tinya, and I remember the business, and I remember the barrels, and I remember the truck. But that's all.
You know something? That out of all the families that didn't think you were nice, you kids are the nicest families.
That
The
we-
three of you.
We know that.
You know?
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, the three
That
of
we
you.
know.
You know, I have a very good friend. She is in the shul where we go, and but this another friend I have from the Hadassah. She doesn't know that she belongs to our shul. So she joined the Hadassah, this friend of mine, and she puts together the children that they put in the magazine, the members' children. You know, you never saw it.
And Hadassah
In the
magazine?
Hadassah magazine, you put the members' children in the magazine and the grandchildren on the members, and you pay $3 each child.
You're not talking about this magazine that comes from nationally once a month. You're talking
No,
some
no.
local Hadassah or something.
No, this is every year they have a dinner, and they
This
have
is your local chapter of
Local
Hadassah. I don't know this
local
magazine.
chapter. So anyway, she collected the money for the children, and she had to bring it over to a friend of mine from the Hadassah who lives here. She lives near the shul. But she didn't know I know this one either. She just walked in with a list of children from our group. So she said she was taking it over and taking the money and writing it. And then she said that, you see these three children?